The section of SIMS we're looking at the moment is called the SIMS homepage. It's made up of a number of panels, and it shows you the key indicators relevant to whichever user's logged onto SIMS at the time. You can see the first panel at the top here lists a number of bulletins relating to the school, sort of staff notices and so on. They're entered by the admin department, whoever needs to. It just shows sort of 4 to start with, but you can display more than that if you want to. And by clicking on the titles, you can see the hyperlinks, so you can display a little bit more information underneath, perhaps some linked documents or other data if you need to. The second panel then shows you my classes today, and if you're logged on as a class teacher and you have a timetable, you can see then that your timetable for today is displayed. This morning I had registration with 11C. This afternoon I've got registration as well, and at the moment I should be teaching Humanities Room 1. And I should be teaching there this afternoon, period 5 in Humanities Room 2. If you're not a class teacher or you don't have a timetable, then that information won't display. And you can scroll back and forwards between the different days if you need to. 10 days either way. Further down then I've got some other customized panels. School diary, information from the school diary, and again those are hyperlinked so I can see any details behind there as reminders for me during the day. My favorite reports, by clicking on those, that takes me straight to the SIMS reporting section for reports that I want to print at any time. In the messages section, my messages are displayed that have been sent using the SIMS In Touch module, either internally or externally if you need to. And again, these are all hyperlinked so you can click on them and see the detail underneath. And from that screen as well, I can click on the reply button to reply back to that message if I need to. My reminders are here if I've got meetings set up within the system. For example, this member of staff is involved in the learning support department, so they have some special needs review meetings that need to be dealt with. And a little bit further down, I can see some panels for attendance summary. In here, I've got an attendance summary for the whole school where I can see all of the indicators for everything that's happening within the school for attendance. If I want a little bit more detail of that, I can click on this button here and expand that part of the screen so I can see then all the various sections. And each of these sections are linked to detail underneath. So if I want to discover who those missing marks relate to, I can click on the yellow panel or I can click on the yellow button down here. That'll bring up then a list of those students for me. I can see and sort them into order if I want to. That Jimmy Abbey, for example, has got 3 missing marks. If I want to see a bit more about Jimmy Abbey and his record, I can double click on there and it'll actually bring me up his detailed view of his student record. And there we are, that's Jimmy Abbey's information. So this is what we call the student teacher view. It's very much set up in a similar way to your home page, where it's set up with key indicator panels rather than a huge long amount of information. But I can see straight away that Jimmy Abbey's attendance, yeah, it's fairly good, 97%, but he's got a lot of behaviour points, and although he's got a lot of achievement points to balance that up with as well. But this will also show me then some information such as his parents' details, such as their telephone number, and it even shows me where he is at the moment. He's currently studying German in room L4, so I can go and locate him if I need to. If I want a bit more detail about his individual attendance or his behaviour or his achievements or any of the other indicators that are here, I can see them from this small panel here, either as a list or as a chart. And if I want to expand them into a little bit more detail, again I can click on another little hyperlink and drill down into the data in a little bit more detail. You can see here, I can see Jimmy's individual attendance across this year so far with all of his attendance marks, and with some breakdown here, even a breakdown per session if I want to as well. So I can, if I've got a bit of a problem with Jimmy's attendance, I can see then which days of the week. In this example here, Monday and Friday is quite often missing from school, and midweek he's always there. Now, if you've got the version of SIMS that has the lesson monitor module, you can view this information in terms of sessions and lessons as well as just the AM/PM. Can you see here? I can see his attendance register across every single lesson that he's taken across this year. A lot of these screens are printable as well. You'll find quite often there's a print button on the screen, so if you want to get the information out on paper, you can do very easily. Let's just move ourselves back then to the home page again, and I'm going to just move that attendance summary back to its little panel. Some other key indicators I can put on the screen here, for example, detentions. This shows me that I've got a detention schedule today that I need to be attending at midday. My main staff code is there, AB. If I click on that link there, I can see then what time the detention is due to happen, where it's due to happen, and who the linked students are. And I can record then any activities or other staff involved and any other documents or notes that I need to relating to that detention. For your administrators, a very useful panel is here, missing registers notifications. So if your teachers are taking their registration straight into the system, your administrator then can see then which registers are missing. So for example here, Miss Burton hasn't taken a register for maths from Monday, period 2, and by a little click of a button here, I can send her a message to her messages on her home screen just to indicate the fact that she hasn't finished that register yet. That'll show up for her. Now, with regard to behaviour and achievements, I've got two more panels here which display for me for the whole school the current information so far this year on behaviour and achievements. And by hovering over here, I can see then a little bit more detail in terms of what these achievements or behaviour records are for. And just as my example here, I've got 5 students here recorded as having an incident of damage to property. If I click on that link, that actually shows me who those individual students are. And the same goes for the achievement. I can click and drill down into that information very, very easily. Now, with all of these panels that exist, they've all got a little spanner in the corner, and that means they're all editable. You can configure them to display just the information that you need. So, for example, I've got an attendance summary here for the whole school. If I want to display it just for my classes or my group of students, I can click on the panel here and change my group type, for example, to be a year group. And if, for example, I'm head of year 9, I can click on here, and that immediately then displays just year 9's attendance summary information. If I want, I can actually configure the screen to have multiple panels of these. By clicking on the configure button in the corner, you can see that I can drag another attendance summary panel onto the screen at whichever point that I prefer. I'm going to do that just there and click OK. And on this panel that I just added, I can click on my configuration box in the corner and leave that one as the whole school panel. So you can see alongside each other here, I've got 2 panels, one showing my attendance summary for year 9 because I'm interested in those classes, and I've got one for the whole school. And that helps me do a bit of a comparison then of my class against the school as a whole.